A beautiful and surprising opportunity is waiting. A normal day transforms to a great opportunity. Things started to speed up. Lights, camera, all were in full action. The atmosphere in the office changed. The colleagues who always support and give suggestions. The meditation to boost the confidence and cleanse the soul. And finally the moment has come when the person who needs no introduction is introduced. The person who is a man of compassion, love and affection. The man who stands for non-violence, peace and universal brotherhood. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Brahmarshi Pitamaha Patriji in open discussion.
There are two types of people. Wrong thinking and right thinking. Wrong thinking people create problems for themselves and for others. Right thinking people create solutions for themselves and for others.
Hello, Namaste, Adab, Sat Sri Akal. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our guest today who doesn't need an introduction. Let me introduce Dr. Brahmarshi Pitamaha Patriji. Sir, आपका स्वागत है. We welcome you to our show on behalf of our viewers too.
Namaskar, Baba.
It's a pleasure to have you on board. Ayushi is my colleague and I'm Idris, as you know. We always been waiting for you for a long time that when will you come to our office so that we can have an open discussion as it was suggested by you. So sir, it's the Enlightenment Day, I believe so. Am I right, sir?
Every day is Enlightenment Day.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So we'll start with the enlightenment. What is enlightenment in your point of view?
When you put a question, what is enlightenment? That is the beginning of enlightenment.
That's beautiful. So we are, coming towards enlightenment, is it?
Yes. That's why you have chosen the subject, enlightenment.
Absolutely.
That word has come out from your mouth.
Right, sir.
When that word comes out of your mouth, that is the beginning of your enlightenment.
Right. So how does it work? Does the enlightenment have some stages?
See, enlightenment is an ongoing process.
Right.
It's a continuous process
Right, sir.
of understanding things.
Mm-hmm.
More and more understanding of things. Anything
Right.
in life. You want to understand. When you want to understand about life,
Correct.
particularly your own life,
Right.
that is enlightenment.
Beautiful.
Why I am acting like this?
Hmm.
Why I am not acting like this?
Right.
Why I am thinking like this? How should I think?
Right.
So when you begin to put questions,
Mm-hmm.
trying to understand yourself, that is the beginning of your enlightenment.
Amazing. That's amazing, sir.
The other day, sir, you have addressed all of us as gods. So according to you, I want to understand that what is this concept of God or how do we define God?
What is a God? God is everywhere. Actually, you are everywhere. You don't know that you are everywhere. But I know that you are everywhere. As consciousness, you are everywhere. As physical body, you are at one place. But as consciousness, you are everywhere. You are that, not this. You are that. In Upanishad, you say, Tattvamasi.
Mm-hmm.
You are that. It means you are not this. You are not this body. You are that consciousness. And consciousness is everywhere. Like space. Where is space? Space is there everywhere. So consciousness is there everywhere. That's why you are a God. As a body, you are at one place. But as consciousness, you are everywhere.
Right.
And everybody is always everywhere. They don't know that they are gods. But I, being enlightened, I have come to know that everybody is God. So everybody I address as gods, naturally.
Beautiful explanation. So one more thing, like since my childhood, I had these
Actually,
questions.
where are you from?
Sir, I'm from Mumbai,
Born and brought up?
born and brought up in Pune.
In Pune.
Yeah, but we shifted to Mumbai later.
Okay.
Yes,
What does your father do?
he was in education department.
Acha.
He has retired now. So since my childhood, I had certain questions about life, about overall the process of this world, how does it work, and why do we come to this world? What's the motive?
All those questions are the beginning of enlightenment.
That's amazing, sir.
Many people, such questions don't arise.
Right.
They just want some money,
Hmm.
some job, marriage, kids.
Right.
There the matter ends.
Right. Right.
And when the kids die, they start crying. Such questions don't arise. But in your case, arising.
Yes, sir. It was in a very beginning stage, and later on, I was very much disturbed. Also, I would say for a long time. Like I couldn't find the answers. I tried to meet lots of people, but I mean, this curiosity was still there, and I believe it is still there somewhere. And it's a very good day today that you are here. Maybe it will be a great opportunity for me to learn more and try to understand things. I'm not that smart, but yeah, I'll try to understand things. I'll try to understand from your words also.
Everybody is not that smart. Actually, he's smarter than what he thinks.
Wonderful, sir. So I was long back, I was curious about who is God, what is God, what is this universe. Like different people have different point of view about God. Some people say that God is invisible, God is a source of
See,
light.
God is a concept. I'll put a question to you.
Right.
What is music? Where is music? Give me an answer.
So it's like unlimited.
Is
Music,
it there in the sitar?
it's everywhere in a way, I would say.
Is it there in your voice?
It's there also, of course.
So where is music? How can you catch music?
Right.
How can you see music?
It's everywhere.
Same thing with God.
Right.
But you can become a musician.
Right.
You can become a great musician. You can become Pandit Ravi Shankar. Or you can also, you did not know anything about music also. All grades of people are there.
Right.
Those people who don't care for music. I'll give you an example. My father used to say, why are you after music? It will not give you any money. So my father never had any respect for music. My mother had. My mother said, I could learn music, you should learn music. Music is good or not?
It is.
So God is also good, very good and beautiful. Okay, that's why we are all in the business of God.
And then one time came and I thought about time. Like I was curious about how to find God. I was very young, of course, maybe 7, 8, 10 years old, I believe so. So I thought about time because time is universe. It controls everything. Everything is under control of time. So what's your concept of time? And
There is no time. We live in a timeless zone. There is no time. We are eternal souls. We are not living in time. Time is an illusion. Time is the greatest illusion.
right.
There is no time. You are beyond time, beyond the concept of, beyond the illusion of time. We are timeless, eternal, where it is. After 1 million years or so, I will be talking to you
Wow.
like this. In some other concept, some other world, some other situation. There is no time.
When we talk about God, generally the things that strikes up in our mind is temples, mosques and gurudwaras. So why are people spending, so much of money on it? Why do people always run to temples or mosques whenever they need? When we say that God is everywhere, then why do people only run to temples when they need help or they want to seek help?
They have still not understood what is the concept of God. They can see only in a temple, in that idol, in that murti. That's why they go there. See, wherever they can see, they can go. They can't go where they don't see. They see God only in temples, whereas we see God everywhere.
So the concept of temples, does it exist?
The temples are built, na? Why temples are built?
Because people have certain belief in it.
So, their belief system helps them.
Okay.
See, everything depends upon belief system. I'll give you an example. Once what happened, Jesus was going. And some people said, if I touch Jesus' robes, I'll be healed. So they came, they were touching the robes of Jesus Christ. And Jesus turned back and said, who touched my robes? They said, we touched your robes and we got healed of our leprosy. When the moment we touched your robes, our leprosy is gone. Do you know what Jesus said? I didn't heal you, you healed yourself.
Wow.
It is your belief system which healed you. Some other people say, oh, how can my leprosy go when if I touch Jesus' robes? So they touched it, it didn't happen. So now, what is the ruling everybody's life? Their belief system. So if they think that God is there only in Mecca or Jerusalem or Amritsar, they'll go there and they'll be healed according to their belief system. It's good, isn't it?
Right.
If I have a belief that if I come to you, my problems will be solved, okay, then I come to you. I have belief in you. So belief systems work. When they are able to see God only in Tirupati, God is there, Lord Venkateshwara is there,
Yes.
they go, it is useful for them. But after some time, that belief system gets diluted and you slowly come into meditation. Then you become enlightened. So it is not only the belief system that helps you, the truth will begin to help you.
Also, here we would like to know the difference between religion and spirituality when we are getting to know about
Religion
this.
fosters belief systems. Spirituality fosters truth systems. Both are useful at their level. When you are a child, you catch hold of your mom and dad. But when you become older, you don't catch hold of their hands. Isn't it? Same thing here also. When you are not very enlightened, you follow belief systems, your own belief systems. That is religion comes in. But when you become a little mature, okay, then the belief systems fall away and you come to truth systems. Only truth will satisfy you. Beliefs will not satisfy you. Until that time, beliefs satisfied you. But after that, beliefs won't satisfy you. You want to know the truth. That's so when you come to Pyramid Meditation channel,
Right.
where everything is truth.
Yes, right. Absolutely. So once we come to spirituality or meditation, do we still need to go to temples or mosques or churches?
You don't have to at all. That need is over.
Okay.
You visit them because you are familiar with them. See, I come from a Hindu background. I was brought up in going to temples. But I also went to masjids and churches. But I would prefer more temples because this is my culture. The culture place.
That's beautiful. And one more thing, like people follow religions. I mean, we see like people are, crazy about religions actually. But at the same time, all the religions have similar, the system for doing good. No religion will teach us speaking bad about anybody or speaking foul about anything or just create fuss in the society. All the religions have good teachings. But why still people are fighting in the name of religion, and how can we address it?
That is not the fault of religions, that is the fault of the people. As you said, religions don't preach any hatred or enmity.
Right.
Yes. But the people do it. So, people are stupid. Religions are perfect. All religions are perfect. They are helpful, they are useful, they are beneficial. But people are not practicing them. See, a Hindu is not practicing his own Hindu philosophy.
True.
A Muslim is not practicing his own Muslim philosophy. A Christian is not practicing his own. That is the problem. Religions have not given wrong guidance.
Absolutely.
People have got wrong minds, that's all.
And now the next question is, how do we address that? How do we make them understand?
We teach them meditation. See, there are two types of people. Wrong thinking and right thinking.
Right.
Wrong thinking people create problems for themselves and for others. Right thinking people create solutions for themselves and for others. So there are two types of people. Wrong thinking people and right thinking people. Okay. A Hitler is a wrong thinking man. A Gandhiji is a right thinking man. Example. Okay. A Veerappan is a wrong thinking man. A Mother Teresa is the right thinking man. Isn't it? So there are two types of people. One who is eating meat is a wrong thinking man. Killing animals and eating. One who is not eating meat is a right thinking man. So there are two types of people basically. So the challenge is that the wrong thinking man should come to right thinking man. He should go through a zone of no thinking. Then he will come to right thinking. From wrong thinking to no thinking, no thinking to right thinking. That no thinking is meditation.
Right.
Arey Baba, don't think Baba. Cease thinking. Give a holiday for your thinking. So I should not think. Oh, don't think at all. Just close your eyes and observe your breathing.
Beautiful.
Then what is happening? From wrong thinking, you are going to a no thinking zone. From no thinking zone, it is very easy for you to
Go to
take
the
a jump to right thinking. When you have right thinking, you don't need meditation at all. But to go from wrong thinking to the right thinking, that state, we need no thinking state. Otherwise, it is not possible. See, I have a cup. Chai hai usme. Now I want to put coffee there. What should I do?
We have to empty it first.
That's what it is. In the same chai, I can't put my coffee.
Right.
Okay. In the wrong thinking, I can't put right thinking.
Correct, sir.
I have to empty the cup. I have to throw the contents out. Clean it.
Clean it, yes.
Okay. And then
Then
Coffee.
Coffee.
So that emptying the cup and cleaning it is meditation.
Beautiful.
Then you can easily put right thinking in it. It takes time for the cleaning of the cup,
Right.
not putting of the coffee.
Correct, sir.
That cleaning of the cup takes a lot of time. Enlightenment does not take much time. It is just filling the coffee.
The process, yes.
The process is very easy. You put the coffee, you got a coffee cup. But cleaning emptying the tea and cleaning it
Preparing
so that
for
there
it
are no
is-
drops of tea in the cup.
Takes time.
Isn't it?
Yes.
That is time. And that is what is meditation.
Beautiful, beautiful. So this example was wonderful.
Oh yeah.
Really loved it. I'm just, mesmerized with this example.
So people come to me, they are brought up in wrong thinking. As a Hindu they kill Muslims, as a Muslim they kill Hindus. They are brought up in wrong thinking.
Yes.
They become Veerappans and Hitlers
Right.
because they are grown up in wrong thinking. Isn't it?
And then they fight on the name of religion.
Yes, yes. They fight. In the name of everything they will fight. Okay. So what do? Hey, guy, calm down. Close your eyes. Observe your breathing. Come to no thinking zone. Then देखा जाएगा. Right thinking क्या है? वो धीरे आ जाएगी अपने आप में. First, come to no thinking. I should not think. Yes, no thinking, no speaking, no movement of the body. Yes, be quiet. Body and mind still.
Amazing.
So we teach meditation. Then they become automatically enlightened. We don't enlighten anybody.
We show them the process.
We show the path of meditation.
Meditation.
Close your eyes, close your mouth, hands into hands,
Right.
fingers into fingers, cross your feet, sit cozily, happily, and for the next 3 hours, you know what I do? I put people into meditation and I go away to watch cricket match. After 2 hours I come back. They say, okay, open your eyes.
That's amazing.
I make them sit in meditation. That is my job.
Right.
I wanted to ask, sir, all life people, they keep running to earn money, to gather money, and then they build
Money
their
is
house.
important. Limited.
But when they know that life is unpredictable, they have to just leave everything over here, then why do they run behind money, earning money, building their house, being in that fancy kind of world? Why is it all necessary for them?
See, they are greedy people. See, if you are hungry, you require 2 rasgullas. But if you eat 10 rasgullas, what happens? The body reacts.
Right.
So limit for 2 rasgullas. Similarly, money also should be limited, not unlimited. That it gives all the problems. Greediness gives all the problems. Man, an inferior man and superior man, 2 types of people are there. Inferior man is full of greed. And superior man only needs. He restricts himself to needs. Needs are always fulfilled. Greed can never be fulfilled. Needs never create problems. Greed creates problems.
Right.
Behind every problem there is a greed. Understand? You overeat, oversleep, over-earn money. You are overly after name and fame. Okay, that is greed. Needs, you are a healthy person. Greed, you are an unhealthy person. Needs, you are a happy person. Greed, you are an unhappy person. You want more and more. There is no satisfaction. Needs are always fulfilled. Greed can never be fulfilled. So difference between needs and greeds. An animal lives with the needs, not with the greed. But human beings have got greed. And they have to overcome their greed.
So on a serious and lighter note, what if I become greedy for meditation?
That is the need of the person. Becoming greedy for meditation is the need of the person, need of the soul.
Right.
You can never overdo meditation. Like, you drink water. The more you drink water, the better it is for the body. You need more and more water for the body. Similarly, you need more and more meditation for the soul.
So, sir, one more question. Like when you started meditating, how did you come into it and how did you find it? And I mean, what made you to do meditation and also spread it across the world?
So, Amiji, like yourself, I also had the same questions. Everybody has the same questions right from childhood. Mm-hmm. At the age of 8, I was studying Mahatma Gandhi's My Experiment with Truth.
Beautiful.
Okay. At the age of 10, I was dreaming about Rabindranath Tagore's Shantiniketan.
Wow.
At the age of 15, I read in my summer holidays 2 volumes of Indian philosophy by Pandit Radhakrishnan.
Wow.
At the age of 17 and 18, I was reading all William Shakespeare,
Beautiful.
Dostoevsky, Chaucer. So I was reading and reading. Any book attracts me.
Mm-hmm.
Any book and every book.
Each and every book, right?
Any book. A book attracts me. I want to see what is there in that book. Whether it's geography or teacher or history or anthropology or astronomy.
And what about the meditation? How did you, start doing it for the
Then,
first?
during the course of my reading, I also encountered spiritual books.
Wow.
And they attract me more than others. That is normal.
Mm-hmm.
So then I used to stay in Hyderabad, in the Vidyanagar area.
Mm-hmm.
Then I saw a board, yoga,
Mm-hmm.
in the year 1966. I went to that yoga center.
Right.
For 6 months I practiced yoga, whatever they taught me. I learned everything. Then I asked them, anything more for me? Then everything you have exhausted. So you go to some other place. Then I went to transcendental meditation. For 3 months I was there. So my pursuit of general knowledge landed me into pursuit of spiritual knowledge.
Right.
First of all, I was a student of general knowledge. Any book, any subject. Then I became a special subject, spirituality. I was studying for my IAS. Mm-hmm. IAS, everything has to be studied.
Right.
So I used to go early morning to the libraries in Hyderabad, and I would come late at night. Whole daytime I used to spend in the libraries. In library, any book, so many books are there. So I used to pick any book and read it.
Wow.
In the IAS examination, the essay paper, 10 questions will be there. You have to write on some topic, any one topic. Then I saw the list of questions, many types of questions there. Then one question is, what is the purpose of life? Then I remember reading in the library. The purpose of life is fourfold. Kama, Artha, Dharma, Moksha. I wrote, I got highest marks
Wow. That's amazing.
in that subject, in my IAS.
Beautiful. So you recommend reading books?
You have to read books.
Okay. What's the book that we should read right now? I mean, do you recommend any book?
One of your favorite books.
You Forever by Lobsang Rampa.
Sure.
Okay. Lobsang Rampa is a great Tibetan master. Have you heard of him?
I just heard about it. I haven't heard before, but I'll just read this book and I'll learn more about it.
You have to read the books by Lobsang Rampa.
Sure.
You will have immediate enlightenment.
Wonderful, sir.
Okay? The 13, 14 books are there.
Mm-hmm.
You Forever,
Mm-hmm.
3 Lives,
Mm-hmm.
Chapters of Life, Hermit, I Believe,
Mm-hmm.
Beyond the 10th.
Right.
All these books are there. Read books.
Sure, sir. I'll just start with this book, definitely.
Ayya Baba, when you read books, you are entering a new world.
So, what's the right time to read the books? Is there any right
Which
time?
is the right time to have chai?
Ideally, morning and evening.
So, books are like chai.
Okay.
Anytime you can have.
Yes.
For any reason you can have chai. Anytime, any reason, chai. Keep on reading books. You must read books.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
You know, I have read more than 100,000 books.
Wow, that's wonderful.
And by 100,000 masters
Beautiful.
in my 73 years old life.
It's amazing, sir.
All those knowledge is here, stacked here.
Amazing, sir. And one more thing, like in 1979, you got enlightened. Am I right, sir?
Yes.
So, how was the feeling? What was the change that was before 79 and after 79, or that stage
See,
also?
when you know what you have to do in the future, you are enlightened. When you don't know what you have to do, you are not yet to be enlightened. When Buddha decided that he has to leave the palace, he became enlightened. He knew what to do. Okay. There was no more vacillation in his mind, to go or not to go. You know what William Shakespeare said? To do or not to do is $1 million question.
Right, right, sir.
I don't know where to go. To do this or not to do, I don't know. But when you say, hey, I know what to do. I have to leave my palace. You are enlightened. I know what I have to do. I have to teach meditation to others. You are enlightened. I know my purpose of life. Bismillah Khan, Shahnai. Bas utna hi hai. I know my purpose. Sitar, Ravi Shankar. Mother Teresa, serving the people in Calcutta. Gandhiji, independence for India. So they all, when you know the purpose of your life, you are enlightened. So in 1979, it became clear to me that my purpose of life is to teach meditation to the whole world. That's when I decided that. I knew my future. I have to. So that's what I am doing.
Wow, beautiful. And it's going great.
It's going great,
Yes,
as you can see.
yes, of course. It's amazing. And we wish all the best for your mission also. And we'll also contribute, of course. That's our duty now.
You are contributing, Baba.
Yes, we have already started, of course.
You already started.
Yes.
With your great voice.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
So you always talk about that one should know about the purpose of life. So how can one know about the purpose of life?
Very easy. Do meditation. Everybody should do meditation. Then the purpose of your life will come to you. I am a musician also. I play the flute.
Right.
Yes or no?
Yes,
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 sir.
yes.
But that is not my purpose of life. I can clean the roads also. But is it my purpose of life? I can clean I can become a dobi wala. Can't I become a dobi wala? But is it my purpose of life? I can become a cook. I cook nicely.
Yes.
But it is not my purpose to cook. I can sing nicely. But it is not my purpose to sing. My purpose is to teach meditation. Bismillah Khan's purpose is to play Shahnai, that's all. Give Shahnai to everybody. Your purpose is to speak for PMC,
Yes.
to lend your wonderful voice.
Yes.
When you find a better way of doing things, then you will go, that will be your purpose of life. I was practicing music. Music is very great. I learned under great music masters. I thought my purpose was music in my life. But I also knew that something else is there. But I didn't know what was that. At that time, there was no meditation in my life. Slowly, I approached meditation. When I approached meditation, oh, this is my purpose of life, not music. So I left music and caught meditation.
Beautiful, beautiful. Sir, one more thing. It's a very deep question in a way. Is the life endless? I mean, it never starts and it never ends. So how does the life work, the cycle of the life?
It is endless. From one body you go to another body. From one world it goes to another world. From one situation you go to another situation. So once what happened? One fellow, his mother died. Okay. He was crying. The mother's body is there. A yogi was going that way. The yogi asked him, why are you crying? My mother is dead. You know what yogi said? The mother is not dead. The eyes with which you can see your mother are dead.
Wow.
The mother did not die. The mother is dead. The yogi can see the mother. But this fellow can't see the mother. The yogi has the eyes, third eye, to see the mother. And they were talking to each other. But this fellow is crying. So he said, your mother is not dead. The eyes with which you can see your mother are dead. So awaken them. Life is eternal. Infinite.
So life does exist after death.
Of course so.
So then the concept of heaven, hell and all this do exist.
There are
sir?
heavens and hells, everything is there. Everything is there. Everything is there. There are dungeons and there are beautiful places. N number of places, N number of dungeons. You want to visit them?
Just curious to know about it. Sir.
You visit them, go and travel, do astral travel. You can go anywhere you want in the astral body and see what is existing everywhere.
Once a person dies, then he will go to another body, right? Or another world, we would say. How much time will it take, the process?
There is no time. There is no time. It is individual choice. Some people don't go to any other world. They hang on to their own house. They don't even vacate their chair also. This is my chair, they say. When somebody else comes and sits in that, they are very angry. We are sitting in my chair.
Yes.
All kinds of people are there. As you are in life, so you are in death. If you are stupid in your life, you are stupid in death. If you are wise in life, you are wise after death. The same psyche continues.
It will be our free will to go to next life, right?
It's always free life, free will. Your own choice.
How about karma? Will that, make it better or bad?
Your karma is always hanging around you. Always. Your good karma is hanging around you, your bad karma is hanging around you.
So does it interfere in this
Of
process?
course so. Of course so. Good karma is always helping you, your bad karma is always stopping you from doing things.
If the intentions are not bad to do, but actions are, so does it apply? Karma does?
Karma always
Like
comes from intentions, not from actions. It is the intention that creates karma. For example, I am driving my car. Some dogs comes and then he falls under my car. Is it a murder on my behalf?
No.
But the dog died. It came into my car and I was driving. But I didn't kill her. So it's not karma for me. But I drive my car onto the dog. That is then karma. You have to face the consequences. In some other lifetime, somebody will come and drive on you. So the intention counts. The dog came and you tried to avert it, but still it came, died. This is not karma. you have got no part in it. But when you have a part in it, then it creates karma. Okay. When I'm walking, some ant may come under my leg. If an ant is there, if I put my leg here,
Yes.
that is karma. But I'm just walking, I don't know. But some ant comes and gets it, it's not karma. Intentions create karma.
But then when we talk about karma, people also, generally run to holy rivers to take a dip. They say that when we take a dip into
That's all
holy river.
stupidity.
Okay.
You have to pay for it. You will pay for it.
So all these concepts are not true.
All the rituals are stupid. Rituality is stupidity. Spirituality is sanity. Ritualism is insanity. Spirituality is sanity.
So the whole process starts with intentions. Am I right?
The law of karma depends upon intentions. Your intent always is important.
Sir, when a human being is born, let's say man had 2 sons. When they are very young, they have, no knowledge actually about life or things around. Sometimes it happens that one son is good and another one is bad. Why does it happen?
I'll give an example. Buddha was returning after meditation. He came to Kapilavastu, his own kingdom. He was on the border. And his father sent a letter. Hey, come and be a king. Your father was a king, your grandfather was a king, great-grandfather, we are all kings. So come and rule your kingdom. He sent a letter, Buddha's father. You know what Buddha said? He turned the paper and wrote, Dad, I was a Swamiji in my past lifetime. 2 lifetimes also I was a Swamiji, so I have to be only Swamiji now.
Amazing.
So you were talking about his lineage. Buddha was also talking about his lineage, past lifetimes. So those 2 people, the sons, one person always was a bad fellow, so he became a bad fellow this lifetime also. Other fellow was always a good fellow, he became a good fellow also. So your goodness, badness comes from past lifetimes,
Past life.
not from current lifetime, not from your father, not from your mom. It comes from your own past lifetimes.
So let's say in my past life, I might have done something bad. So how do I correct that? How do I address
Do
it?
something good now.
Okay.
Do something good. That's all.
Amazing.
That's all. Everything comes from your past life. All characters.
And one more thing, like to understand what I have done in past or what I'm going to do in future maybe. How do we learn that? How do we understand that process?
When you study your past, you will notice your mistakes. When you notice your mistakes, you don't repeat them. That's all.
Right.
You can't repeat them. When you notice a mistake, you can't repeat them. When you don't study the past, then you don't recognize your mistakes. You don't make note of your mistakes. So past has to be studied.
So what is the best process to study the past? How do we study our past? How do we know what we have done?
See, when you are no thinking area, you are always thinking negatively, wrongly. You can't study properly. So come to a no thinking zone, then you will study properly and come to right thinking. Everything depends upon meditation.
So now that we were talking about intentions and all, I've seen in one of your video that you're talking about when we feed animals, we need to feed them vegetarian food. But most of the people around here, they're feeding numerous number of animals. That kind of food which contains meat in them. Their intentions are pure, but the actions that they're doing is not right. So what would you say on it?
Their intention is not pure. They are killing an animal. How can that be pure intention? No. How can that be pure intention?
They're buying a ready-made food and then they're
No,
feeding
there is
it.
no ready-made food, Baba. Everything killing is there. What do you mean by ready-made food? No.
So that will add on to their karma too.
When you are eating your rice, don't you know where the rice is coming from? Somebody has grown the rice. That rice has come to you. When you are eating meat, don't you know how the meat has come? It's common sense. Sorry, I don't agree with you. Their intentions are good, no. Their intentions are horrible.
Take care of it, Ayushi. When we change the lives from one life to another one, do we have a choice, or is it? What do we choose next life?
It's always according to your choice.
Okay.
You choose your parents. You choose a male or female. You choose your India or America, China. You choose Milky Way galaxy or Andromeda galaxy. Everything is your choice. So you can't complain against your own life. Everything is your choice. You choose according to your best needs, highest needs. Everything is your choice. And your choice is always perfect for you. My choice is perfect for me. See, before I was born, I could be born to any mother. I had a choice. So I went into Google. Which lady cooks the best in the whole world? Then my mother's figure came. I came into my mother because I want good food always. She was the best cook. All Indian dishes she would make. Marathi dish, Gujarati dish, UP dish, Tamil dish, Kannada dish, Telugu dish, everything.
Wow.
So for me, I wanted good food. So I selected my own mom. You selected your mom, and you selected your mom according to your own needs. So everybody's lifetime is always a choice. Out of your own wisdom, out of your own needs, for your own specific growth.
So now that we're talking about parents and children relation, sometimes the relations become bitter. When a boy or girl, they're young, there's a love, a bonding between the family. Once they grow up, they start working or they get married. Why does this bitterness come, and how do we?
Because there is no meditation. Because there is no enlightenment. They fight with each other. Where there is meditation, there is no
Violence.
There should be meditation in every home. Before you give birth to your children, you must take a certificate from me that you are a meditator. Then you are allowed to have children. Because the children should go along with meditation. Then there will be no problem. For that, parents should have a meditation.
Wonderful, wonderful. And since we were talking about food too, what's your favorite dish?
Bagheera Bangan.
Great. So do you know how to cook that?
I know Bangan, but not Bagheera Bangan.
Because I thought you are here, so we might have together. That will be a blessing for us.
There are so many beautiful things to eat, Baba.
Your favorite one, sir? Only this.
Food is very important for me. I delight in food. Food is a big subject.
What do you generally do when you get a day off, sir?
I get always my days off.
While working,
I don't work at all. Well, I have stopped working.
But you're working always.
No, Baba, I'm not working. I'm enjoying myself. I'm not doing any work.
So you're doing service.
Yeah.
You're just spreading.
I am leading a retired life, Baba. Enjoying myself totally. I stopped working 30 years back. In 1992, I resigned my job. I was no more working. Since then, I'm enjoying my life, happily doing whatever I want to do.
Wow. So you love traveling, right?
I am a travel bug. Tomorrow I am leaving for Nagpur. I am going to Chandrapur.
Yes, our colleague has already informed us about that. She's already, planning to go there to welcome you.
Tomorrow morning I'll start from here. I'll go to Armoor. Then from there I'll go to Adilabad. From there I'll go to Chandrapur. From there I'll go to Nagpur. From there Nagpur I'll go to Bandara. From Bandara I'll go to Bhilai. From Bhilai I'll go to Raipur. Raipur I will go to Korba. This is what I have planned right now.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
And what is your mantra that keeps you so fit? You keep traveling, so frequently.
I enjoy traveling, Baba. I enjoy meeting people. Nobody would have traveled as much as I have done. Nobody would have read as much as I have read.
Yes, that's right.
Nobody would have eaten mirchi bhajis as much as I have eaten. In Bangalore, I went to a lady's house. She was preparing mirchi bhajis. You know how many mirchi bhajis I ate? 65.
Wow.
Oh my God.
My God.
Non-stop. 65 mirchi bhajis I ate. What do you say?
That's amazing.
Right.
At one go. She was preparing, I was eating. She was preparing, I was eating. So very tasty. My goodness. They are not at all hot mirchis. Very, very soft mirchis. You can eat any number.
You have traveled so much, sir. Any favorite destination of yours?
If there is only favorite destination, I can't travel so much. My travel is my destination.
So now that we started talking about traveling, the world is divided by borders, right? Do you think it's right or wrong?
There won't be any more borders after 2055.
And why is that, sir?
The whole world will be one country. There will be Ramarajya everywhere. There will be no India, Pakistan, China. Borders won't be there. Because everybody is going to become enlightened
Beautiful.
because of PMC.
Sure, sir. That's our mission, yes.
PMC is the best thing that has happened to the Earth planet.
No doubt about that.
See, the Earth planet has got such a big history. After all the history, the best thing that happened to the Earth planet is PMC.
And we are going to change the history.
Yeah.
You are the pillar of PMC.
Sure, sir.
Jai Ho PMC.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Baba.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much,
It was
sir.
really nice to have you on board, and we wish you could come again and again here, and we'll do more sessions, and if
Yes.
possible we'll also try to travel to other cities where you stay, and I would also love to travel with you always, but if it's allowed, yes.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. And thank you so much for this beautiful enlightenment hour. I'm sure our viewers have got a lot of information, lots of entertainment also, because lots of beautiful stories we have came to know about Patriji, and it was really an amazing session. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure.
And
Thank
we'll
you, sir.
always spread meditation to each and everyone. So whosoever is watching us, please do meditate and feel the difference. Thank you so much.